The bold and the beautiful. Blood, secrets, and the reckoning. What really happened at Steffi's house? The darkness came without warning. In the dead of night, in the supposed safety of her own home, Steffi Forrester Finnegan was ambushed. A stranger broke in, silent, swift, and armed with intentions that remain a mystery. But what unfolded was more than just a home invasion. It was the trigger to a series of explosive revelations that will not only shatter lives, but reshape every relationship tethered to Sheila Carter, Finn, Liam, and Steffi. What began as an act of self-defense quickly twisted into something darker. Finn, reacting on instinct, fought the intruder in a brutal scuffle that ended with a fatal blow. Steffi watched in shock as her husband stood over the lifeless body. At first, it seemed simple. A man threatened his wife. Finn protected her. Case closed. But nothing is simple in Los Angeles. As the LAPD begins its investigation, inconsistencies start to surface. Why didn't the security alarm go off? Why did the intruders seem to know the layout of Steffi's house? And why did Finn hesitate for a moment when asked if he recognized the man? Liam Spencer doesn't buy the clean version of the story. The look in Finn's eyes wasn't fear. It was something else, something guarded. And when Liam starts asking questions, he uncovers more than he bargained for. The intruder wasn't just some random criminal. He had ties to someone very specific. Someone dangerous. Someone infamous. Sheila Carter. It's no secret that Sheila's past is littered with betrayal, violence, and chaos. She's left bodies and broken families in her wake. But what if this man wasn't just from Sheila's past? What if he was part of a secret Finn had been hiding? As Liam pulls phone records, old arrest sheets, and surveillance footage from neighboring homes, a chilling possibility takes shape. Finn may have known this man. Worse, he may have known he was coming. Back at the Forrester estate, the mood shifts. Steffi, grateful to be alive, starts to notice her husband's unease. Finn is distant. Edgy. He says it's the trauma, but there's something else. Something unspoken. She presses him, and he deflects. But when she finds him burning an envelope in the backyard fire pit, one marked with the logo of a prison Sheila once stayed in, the weight of suspicion becomes too heavy to ignore. Liam confronts Finn directly. He demands answers. Finn doesn't deny the connection, but he doesn't explain it either. He simply says it's complicated. That's not good enough. Not when a man is dead. Not when Steffi could have been killed. Not when the fingerprints found on the body match someone linked to Sheila's darkest days, a former enforcer, someone who once took jobs to silence her enemies. And then the twist no one saw coming hits. Finn received a letter 2 weeks before the break-in. A warning. A threat. And he said nothing. Not to Steffi. Not to the police. Not to anyone. Because the letter was from Sheila. And it warned that unfinished business was coming for him. A man named Conley, someone Sheila double-crossed years ago in a drug trafficking cover-up. Finn knew that Conley was dangerous. He also knew that if he went to the authorities, Sheila's whole history would be re-examined. And with Sheila still trying to rebuild her image and her fragile connection to Finn's son, Hayes, Finn chose silence. He thought Conley would never find him. He was wrong. Now the man is dead, killed by Finn's own hands, and every choice is catching up to him. Liam is furious. He believes Finn risked Steffi's life to protect a legacy of secrets. That his silence was as dangerous as the break-in itself. And worst of all, he believes Steffi deserves to know the truth, every twisted, deceitful part of it. But telling the truth might be more dangerous than the lie. Because as the investigation deepens, a new theory arises. What if the break-in wasn't about Finn at all? What if it was about Hayes? Conley had pictures in his car. A photo of Steffi. A photo of Hayes. A marked map of local schools. Suddenly, this isn't about Finn's mistake. It's about a child in danger. And Sheila's past may have put her grandson directly in the crosshairs. Brooke, Ridge, and even Thomas are pulled into the web. They demand answers. They demand accountability. But as more details come out, loyalties are tested. Sheila, upon hearing of Conley's death, vanishes, disappears without a trace. She knows her past has caught up with her. And wherever she goes, death follows. The fallout is immediate. Ridge blames Finn for not protecting Steffi the way a husband should. Brooke demands that Liam tell Hope everything about the danger, about Finn's lies, about the risk to Hayes. Hope is torn. She believed Finn had finally become a steady presence. But this? This is betrayal on a level even she can't process. Meanwhile, Finn spirals. Haunted by the man he killed. Haunted by the boy he may have failed to protect. He tries to make amends, to explain that he did what he thought was best, that he acted out of love. But Steffi can barely look at him. Because the truth isn't just that he killed a man. It's that he chose silence over safety. And in her eyes, that makes him a stranger. By the end of the week, nothing is the same. Liam demands full custody of Kelly, citing the danger in Finn's household. Steffi doesn't argue. She hands Kelly over, knowing it's the only way to protect her. Carter, seeing the fractures spreading, offers legal advice, but even he can't patch up the damage. The Forrester family circles the wagons. They close ranks. And Finn finds himself on the outside again, alone with his guilt, with Sheila's shadow still looming. And then comes the final blow. An anonymous tipster sends the police a message. Conley wasn't alone. He had a partner. Someone's still out there. Someone's still watching. And they want what Conley didn't get: revenge. And now everyone is a target. This is no longer just about protecting a marriage or a secret. This is about survival. As the bold and the beautiful barrels forward, every truth that's been hidden will come to light. Every lie will demand a price. And the war between past sins and present love will consume everything in its path. Stay tuned. The reckoning has only begun. The night was like any other in Los Angeles. Glossy streets, distant sirens, and secrets simmering beneath the surface. But one sudden, violent crash changed everything. Ridge Forrester, patriarch of the Forrester family, was in a car alone on his way to confront someone who had dared to cross a line. That person? Sheila Carter. He never made it. The brakes failed. The impact was brutal. When Ridge was pulled from the wreckage, bloodied and unconscious, it seemed like a miracle that he survived. But the real nightmare had only just begun. Sheila Carter had orchestrated it all. Every detail. Every contingency. She wanted Ridge alive, but broken. She needed him vulnerable. Because this wasn't just about pain. It was about control. It was about revenge. Ridge Forrester woke up in a private medical suite, his name barely familiar, his past a haze, his memories severed by trauma. And standing beside his bed, speaking softly, soothingly, was Sheila. "You're safe, Ridge," she told him. "I'm here. I've always been here. Your fiancé. The woman you love." It was a lie. A dangerous, calculated lie. But Ridge didn't know that. His memory had been erased, and in its place, Sheila planted a fiction. She became his world, his comfort, his link to a fabricated reality in which she was his partner, his savior, and his future wife. She played the role to perfection, gentle, loving, devoted, while meticulously crafting the illusion of a life they never shared. Photographs were doctored. Mementos forged. Their supposed engagement ring placed carefully on his finger. The staff at the facility had been bought, blackmailed, or scared into silence. No one dared oppose her. Ridge's phone was disabled. No contact with the outside world. No news, no familiar voices. And most importantly, no Brooke Logan. Because this wasn't just about Ridge. Sheila's hatred ran deep. Brooke had humiliated her, cast her out, and time and again helped expose Sheila's sins. This was payback. Ruthless, strategic payback. If Sheila couldn't destroy Brooke directly, she would do it through the man Brooke loved most. While Ridge remained hidden away, the Forrester family was thrown into chaos. Days passed, then weeks. No contact. No answers. Brooke was frantic. She refused to believe Ridge would simply disappear. Steffi, Thomas, and Eric launched their own investigations, but the trail had gone cold. No sign of Ridge. No wreckage. No call. It was as if he had vanished into thin air. Brooke clung to hope. She knew Ridge. She believed in his strength. But what none of them knew was that Ridge was being kept from them, manipulated, drugged, and slowly molded into someone else entirely. Back in the private estate Sheila had set up for them, a lavish, isolated home paid for with laundered money, Ridge began to settle into the role she had written for him. He still had questions, gaps he couldn't explain, dreams that didn't make sense. But Sheila was always there, feeding him answers. Distracting him with fabricated memories, convincing him they'd been through so much together, that they had fought for their love, that his family had turned against him, that Brooke had betrayed him and left him for dead. Sheila didn't just want Ridge to believe her. She wanted him to love her, and slowly, chillingly, he began to. But love built on lies is never real. Ridge's instincts kept fighting back. Sometimes, late at night, he would stare at his reflection and feel the cracks in the facade. Sometimes a flash of Brooke's face would pass through his mind, and he would feel panic he couldn't explain. But Sheila would always be there with her answers, with her poison. And while she played the perfect fiancé, she made her real move, Forrester Creations. With Ridge presumed missing or dead, legal loopholes began to surface. Sheila, posing as Ridge's intended, began taking meetings, forging documents, and positioning herself to gain controlling interest in the company. She whispered in Ridge's ear about business decisions, reminding him of his vision and the way they had built this dream together. And with every forged signature, every manipulated vote, she edged closer to seizing the legacy she believed was stolen from her. But nothing stays hidden forever. Brooke finally found a lead. An anonymous tip from someone inside the clinic where Ridge had been treated. A nurse, too scared to speak directly, sent Brooke a single message: "He's alive. She has him. Find him." That was all Brooke needed. She turned to Bill Spencer, who mobilized private investigators and security teams. Days later, they tracked Ridge's location to the estate. But time was running out. Inside the house, Sheila sensed the walls closing in. Ridge had begun to resist her narrative. He found old news articles she had failed to destroy. He saw photos of himself with Brooke. He demanded answers. And when Sheila couldn't lie fast enough, she broke. The rage returned. The real Sheila. The one who had shot people, blackmailed families, stolen babies. She screamed at him, told him the truth. That Brooke never deserved him. That she was the one who loved him. That she saved him. Ridge was stunned. But before Sheila could act, the doors burst open. Brooke arrived first. The look on her face when she saw Ridge alive, but holding Sheila's hand, was a mix of heartbreak and fury. She shouted his name. Sheila grabbed a syringe, lunged forward, but was tackled by security. Screaming, sobbing, dragged away, she held that Ridge would never be safe. that she would never stop. In the aftermath, Ridge stood silent, staring at Brooke. And then the flood came. The memories, the truth. His knees gave out. He collapsed into her arms. He remembered everything. But the damage was done. Forrester Creations was in disarray. Shareholders panicked. Media frenzy exploded. Ridge was back, but his name had been tainted. His family shaken, and his trust shattered. As the bold and the beautiful moves forward, Ridge must rebuild his life, piece by piece. Sheila is locked up, but her influence lingers. Brooke remains at his side, but she knows their love, tested once again, has new scars. And the question remains, what else did Sheila set in motion during those missing weeks? Because a woman like Sheila Carter never bets on just one plan. And the game is far from over.